Hello, friends. This is Deepak, and I'm here with Sanjeev ji in his Fremont office. He's looking charming as usual. So, Sanjeev ji, last week we talked about the updates on payroll protection program. You talked to us. You told us there were many changes that were passed in Congress, and you were expecting them to be passed in Senate. Was everything passed, or something changed? What are the updates?
Yes, so let me go through the updates, what has happened in the Congress and what has happened in the Senate. So, as everyone knows, Paycheck Protection Program was meant for helping small business owners to get the funds from the government and to tide over the difficulties with respect to hiring the employees, paying them payroll, and plus giving some money for expenses like rent, utilities, and interest on mortgage payments. So now the covered period, we call it a covered period because they're giving an 8 weeks period to use that money for those payroll, 75% for payroll and 25% for qualified expenses. Now that covered period in the earlier stage in the earlier program was 8 weeks. Now with the what happened in the Congress, House of Congress, they made it from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. What passed in Senate again is the same thing from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. So there is no change in that one. So what they have done is they have said that you can have 8 weeks and you can also have 24 weeks. So you have a choice. Whichever choice is good for you, you can choose it. So if you are a business owner who has a lot of payroll, then 8 weeks is easy for you. If you are a business owner who does not have a lot of payroll, for example, you're not open like restaurant businesses or daycare schools or other businesses which are not yet open or partially open, they can choose the longer period of 24 weeks and they can use that money to when they are open and they want to hire more people. So definitely for them, 24-week period works. So the period now they're given the flexibility of covered period or alternative covered period, which is 8 weeks. With a covered period 8 weeks, alternative covered period will be 24 weeks. But they also put a clause there. The period should not go beyond December 31st, 2020. So it should not go anything beyond December 31st, 2020. That's the closing date for this PPP loan. That's the first thing change. Second thing change happened in the Congress. It happened is they allocated the money 75% to payroll and 25% to the other qualified expenses, which I just talked is rent, utilities, and interest on mortgage payments. In the Congress, they passed 60-40%. That means 60% should go to the payroll and 40% for all those other qualified expenses. In the Senate, they also passed the same thing, but only thing they have maintained is there will be no partial forgiveness. That means if you are not spending if you're not spending at least 60%, then you will not get any forgiveness in the current bill that passed in the Senate. Of course, this bill, which is passed in the Senate and passed in the Congress, has still to go to President for signature. He will be signing into it, but we'll wait for it. Next week we'll get more clarity on this one. But now 60% has to be for payroll, 40% for rent and utilities. So if you have more rent and utility expenses, but not 60% of payroll, you will not get forgiveness. Earlier was 75% and 25%. But if you have, let's say you spend only 60% of the amount on payroll, you will get forgiveness of that 60%. But here you have to spend at least 60%, not less than 60%. So that's partial forgiveness is not there in the new bill that passed in the Senate and the Congress. So now the Senator I think Senator Rubio has said that they're working on this one to to provide some flexibility in that one. We have to wait for that flexibility whether it comes or not for partial forgiveness. Third thing that happened is about the term. The term of the loan earlier was 2 years for repayment. They have extended in the Congress. They extended to 5 years. Same thing happened in Senate. They extended to 5 years for new PPP borrowers, not for existing loan borrowers. So for existing loan borrowers, they put it negotiation between the lender and the borrower. So you have to negotiate with your lender. For if you are a new PPP loan borrower, after this enactment of this bill, you are getting 5 year term. For the existing ones, you have to connect with your lenders to get this term of 5 years. So that's the important change for the third one. The fourth important change that happens is the reduction in the forgiveness. So what happens is if you as per the earlier PPP program, if you spend 70% on payroll and 25% on qualified expenses, but you have reduction in full-time employees. So what do you mean by reduction? Let's say on February 15, 2020, you have 20 employees, and during the covered period, as per earlier bill, which was 8 weeks, you have 15 employees. And so there's a reduction of by 5. And you hire those 5 employees by June 30th, your reduction is not there. If you don't hire by June 30th, then there is a reduction of forgiveness by 5 employees. Provided you have to hire, you have to provide documentation to prove that they are not coming back, or you provided they have to come, you send an email to them, but they are refusing to come and document that refusal. In the new bill that passed in the Congress, they're saying there is no reduction on full-time employees if they can prove that they cannot get the equal number of equal qualification of candidates. So if they are not getting enough candidates by December 31st, not by June 30th, they have extended June 30th to December 31st. So if they don't get the equally qualified candidates, then there is no reduction. So they have come with the equally qualified candidate. That means you can hire new people, don't have to go back to old people. You can hire, if you can't fulfill those requirements, then there is no reduction. Or if your business is not closed, or business is not open by December 31st, or your business is running at reduced capacity, not maintaining the same level as on February 15, 2020 because of COVID-19 restrictions. So they're providing more flexibility, they're providing more ways not to get your loan forgiveness reduced. So this is welcome. Also, the FT reduction has been relaxed a lot more in both the Congress and the Senate. The same bill was passed in Senate with this one. So that's the fourth one. Fifth one, fifth one was there with the deferment of employer portion of payroll taxes. So in the earlier bill, it was not mentioned that you can defer the employer portion of payroll tax, Social Security and Medicare taxes. With the new bill that passed in Congress and also in Senate, you can defer the employer portion of payroll taxes till you can defer it till December 31st, irrespective of whether the forgiveness is there or not. So there's a welcome relief also for a lot of business owners. So these are 4 important areas of changes in the new bill that passed in Congress, also was seconded by Senate. Most probably both the things are equally on the same levels. So more flexibility, more timing, but more important for every business owner to connect with their tax professionals to understand this regulation clearly. There's more chances to get forgiveness, but one thing you must also always remember that double dipping of expenses are not allowed. So you have to keep a separate bank account, a separate account for PPP, separate account for operating expenses, so that you can account for it at the end of the year when you do your tax returns along with the PPP. So how do you apply for loan forgiveness? For in the new scenario, we have to wait for that one. What will happen to the limits on the payroll? As we know, the limits on the payroll earlier was 15,385. They have not said anything whether you can go more to 46,315, which is for which is for 24 weeks of payroll. So we not know about. What about the Schedule C owners? Can they go higher? What about the owner employees? What will happen to them? We are not very clear on this one. So we are waiting for that one. We'll come back next week. Hopefully the President will sign it. We'll get more information, more instructions. And then we have this COVID-19 relief webinar on June 13th. We can talk about that as we comment as we get more details into it.
Now, Sanjeevji, one question I do have. So to apply for the forgiveness, what is the right time?
That's a very good question. So earlier we know you can apply after June 30th anytime. So there's no date they were given for application. Only they have said the lender will take another 60 days to review your application, and they will get the money from SBA, as we will take another 90 days to send that money to a lender. So the timing, there's no timing. Again, the same thing in the bill. They have not said when to apply, where to apply. So where to apply, we know is to the lenders, but when to apply, still we don't know. So it's better that you have to work with your tax professionals to make sure that you make the full amount forgiven in the best possible manner. Once you arrive at that number, then you can apply it for forgiveness to your lender.
So it just basically depends on your situation.
Yes.
If you think you can meet the requirements, might as well get that taken care of.
You should do it faster than slower, because you want to book expenses for tax purposes, not for PP purposes.
Yeah, so I guess it would all really depend. If you're spending the money, then probably sooner, and if you're not spending the money, then later, correct?
Right.
So that explains that, and we'll have a lot more questions for Sanjeevji on the webinar. Now, Sanjeevji, there was another program for economic disaster loans.
Yeah,
was there any updates on that at all?
Yeah, a lot of people are getting money on EIDL loans. They're getting different loan amounts. They're giving up to $150,000 max amount. Some are getting 50,000, some are getting 80,000, some are getting 100,000. Mostly people are getting up to 150,000 based upon what they have applied initially. So EIDL loan is a loan, not a grant, not a forgiven loan. I say payable at 3.7, payable for 30 years at a rate of interest of 3.75% fixed. The money can be used for accounts payable, means working capital purposes, not for repaying the loans, not for owners using their for personal gains or trying to run their own payrolls. This meant for only working capital, but it's a very cheap loan. If you get that email from SBA to create an account and do all those things, please go ahead and do that account. That's really a cheap loan and a good loan.
So there you go, guys. If you have any question, definitely jump on the webinar. Now, Sanjeevji, I'm assuming that you are still helping business owners who have not yet applied for the loans, right?
Yes, definitely. The loans are still there, about $130 billion pending with SBA. This is the right time before everybody gets jumping on it, because now they're given 24 weeks. It's a very useful period, and plus more on rents and utilities. Like a lot of people have to pay rents. Their business is not yet open. It's a good, very easy, and rate of interest only 1%.
So those of you guys who have not yet applied for the loan, give our office a call and we'll be happy to walk you through it. And those of you guys have applied for the loan and have started using that money, then you should definitely set up a consultation appointment with Sanjeevji to make sure when should you apply for forgiveness.
And what are the criteria, whether they're meeting the criteria is very important. Like I said, one should aim for full forgiveness, but we have to do it in a manner that we meet our tax requirements and also we meet our PPP qualifications requirements.
So that's it for today. Thank you so much, Sanjeevji, for giving us our weekly update. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.